of like WWF start, because that's what it was at the time. WWF started taking over in the the ratings from WCW, because WCW had them for about 2 years. And sorry, I'm giving too much backstory. And these are the first types of games for the last from 94 to maybe 95 on. Maybe it's 95 on, where they actually were 3D wrestlers opposed to these like arcadey, cartoony looking wrestlers.
Totally. And so this game, so WCW Nitro, I remember having it in the car on the way home. I'm reading the booklet. I mean, at this point, I think the only wrestling game I'd played on like a current gen system at that time was maybe Power Move Pro Wrestling. That was a 3D one. And there was also like WWF WrestleMania, and it was like a 2D, almost like a fighting game, but like with wrestling elements. And so this was like, 3D wrestling game, like finally. And it was the biggest piece of garbage I think I had ever laid my hands on. The mechanics in the game were clunky. It was really hard to play. And I mean, not long after that, a couple years after that, I mean, WWF Warzone came out and only slightly refined that. But luckily,
let me tell you something. I bought the newest WWE game because I'm like, I kind of followed a little bit now.
Like the 2018?
Yeah, the 2018. Let me tell you something. They have not fixed controls on wrestling games. They still fucking suck. But it's a lot of fun when you're playing with friends because it's so fucking clunky and shitty. It looks great now, but it's just fucking clunky as fuck.
Well, at one point, there were really not clunky wrestling games, and I think they all exist on the Nintendo 64. WCW versus NWO World Tour.
Yeah, I remember that. And then WrestleMania 2000 even was good.
Yeah, WrestleMania 2000 actually is my favorite of all. Even more than No Mercy. I think a lot of people like No Mercy, but honestly, I think they got it like perfect with 2000. And after that, I mean, there was the Def Jam games.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Def Jam. It was like a wrestling fighting game.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But that doesn't really count as a major wrestling game, but I see what you're saying.
So Def Jam was made by the same people.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
Literally was the same game, but like in an urban setting, and it was more like fist fighting. But there were a lot of wrestling elements.
Well, let me tell you this. You know what? The last great game, I played a couple of good ones. THQ actually made some good ones, and they went out of business, and then now 2K Games just took over for WWE games. But WWE, I think it was like WWE 12. It was like the 2012 game. The whole story, you relive the Attitude Era, which is fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
And it was all the great Attitude Era, which is when you and I used to watch, late 90s. Like, characters were there, and the controls are actually really, really good, and they're just simple controls. Now they're too complicated, and it's annoying. Okay, I'm done with the rest. I could talk about this shit forever. Sorry.
Yeah, me too, because I was just about to get into WrestleMania 18. I was going to keep going. But yeah, we should actually, because I've always been a huge fighting game fan. I could probably go down the rabbit hole of fighting games / wrestling games for
That's fine. Yeah, we can say that for a podcast. I've played a bunch of different styles.
Maybe we could even do a dedicated one, because honestly, I have a lot to say about the whole genre. So.
Oh, look at fucking Mr. Big Brains on Brad. Okay, is it time for our newest segment?
Why don't you lead the way?
We all like to complain about whatever we see. It's just a way of life, but it don't need to be. So gather around, genies, and grab a cup so you can calm down and shut the fuck up. What did you think about that?
I kind of dug it.
Little beep-a-da-boop, boop, boop, boom, ba-ba-da-ba type thing.
Did you just say ba-ba-da-ba?
No, I know. I don't. Why are you saying I'm saying ba-ba-da-ba? I'm not fucking saying ba-ba-da-ba, bro.
I'm gonna rewind the tape. Play it real quick.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Fuck! I guess I did. Yeah, you're right. Shit!
The bang, da bang, dingy dingy?
No, we're not doing that Kid Rock bullshit, man. Okay, so this week's segment on...
Calm down and shut the fuck up.
You say this year's?
This week's Calm Down, Shut the Fuck Up.
No Man's Sky. Next.
Yes. So they finally gave a little bit of... well, first of all, they confirmed it'll be coming out in July.
So we were wrong originally a couple months back whenever I said June.
Right.
So
which is fine.
I wish it would come out like right after E3. Wouldn't it be better to be like, hey, E3's happening? Here's No Man's Sky next.
Yeah. Right. That would be great, but whatever. At least it's coming. And they said finally it's going to be multiplayer. You'll be able to build bases together,
which is going to be great. I will do that with you. I will build you a Stairway to Heaven, son.
Do we know the extent of the building? Like, can you already
No.
build? I don't even know. I
Yeah,
haven't
you
played
can.
the game. I didn't mean to say I haven't played the game. I haven't played the game since launch.
I mean, the biggest thing I found as far as newsworthy stuff for what they've already said so far, at least, is just that it's going to have multiplayer. Easily accessible multiplayer. I don't know why
Jumping in a rocket ship together and flying from planet to planet.
Discovering new planets. Yeah, it sounds great. I will discover a planet with you, and I will call it my dickhead friend.
You'll call it that?
I will call it that. Why?
Oh, no reason. You didn't hurt my feelings or anything.
I didn't think I did.
Good. Because you didn't.
Well, I wasn't trying to, so I guess that's good.
Good, because you didn't.
I would never want to hurt your fucking feelings, Fred.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. You're so very fucking welcome.
Feelings are not hurt.
My dog is freaking. He's like, "What are you doing, Dad? Why are you yelling?" Don't worry, Chewie. It's not you this time.
Tell him. Sometimes he barks. Sometimes you bark.
Yeah, I bark just like you, buddy. Why don't you just calm down, shut the fuck up? So the point is, of why this is on our segment of Calm Down, Shut the Fuck Up, taking that shit back to the basics, is because people freaked out about this game. And they're like, it's going to suck, it's terrible, we want our money back. Didn't they try to sue them?
Yeah, people
were
pissed. They said No, okay, so get this. So some people are saying, you misled us. We thought that we'd be able to play with our friends. We thought when we fired this game up, we'd be able to jump in a ship together, or at least find each other in the world. We couldn't. Now people are saying, when you released this game, you said it was not a multiplayer game.
Of course.
Right.
Everyone wants to complain.
And they're saying, and now you're turning it into a multiplayer game. You lied to us.
You know what I suggest they do, Fred?
Huh?
I suggest they calm down, shut the fuck up.
I think everyone needs to calm down, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So this next segment, I'm actually pretty excited about. I really like this publisher.
So do I. Oh, that was fucking easy.
I walked into that. Yeah, that wasn't even a challenge.
Whatever. Calm down, shut the fuck up. So, yes.
So,
Devolver.
Well, we should explain first. So we've been every week for the last 5 weeks now.
This has been longer than 5. This has been like 6 to 7 going on.
Is this our 6th week?
This is longer. Okay, so we did Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. Then we did EA, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Bethesda. That's already 7, so this would be 8.
Wow. So this is our 8th week of E3 predictions.
Yep.
Devolver Digital said they'd be doing another press conference this year. In fact, last year's press conference was hilarious. Did you end up catching that?
I caught it a little bit.
It was kind of like a comedy variety show with game trailers.
Which I think if you're a smaller studio, and a lot of what they were doing was making fun of a lot of the things in AAA gaming, kind of like microtransactions, early access, things like that. And I think that's a good idea. That's smart. Because you're kind of like talking like we're not the fucking big AAA guys. We don't have all that money, and we also don't have all that other dumb bullshit that comes along with our marketing strategy.
One of the funny things was when they started the whole thing, this girl comes out and she's like, thank you. She's waiting for the applause to end, and then she starts to get irritated, and she goes, you're a professional journalist, and she goes, screw it, and she puts her hand in her back pocket, and she pulls out a gun and shoots in the air, and everyone stops clapping. And
that's pretty good.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like that set the tone for the rest of the press conference, and it was just really funny. But they've also confirmed there will be actual announcements as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be goofy again. It'll be kind of like it was last year. But last year they didn't have any big announcements. I think they just showed some gameplay of things that are already announced. So this year, well, Serious Sam 4 has already been announced, right?
Yeah, it has. Maybe we'll see some gameplay, though, because we've only so far seen, like, cinematic trailers. Also, I wanted to mention, if many of you are not familiar with Devolver Digital, they've done Enter the Gungeon, Hotline Miami, Downwell, Broforce. Obviously, we just mentioned Serious Sam. Yep.
They did Shadow Warrior.
There's
Shadow Warrior,
tons.
which is big. That's came back over the last couple of years, too.
Yep. Titan Souls, Absolver, Crossing Souls. There's a bunch of actual really good games.
They're just smaller. They're smaller in scale, but they're definitely really good games as far as from a. There's a publisher that they have a lot of foreign developers too. If you look at it, like there's definitely some U.S. IPs, but a lot of it's from overseas, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and two that you might recognize if you've kept your eye on the scene here.
We haven't.
Minute and the Swords of Ditto are two of the newer Devolver Digital games.
You in this fucking Minute game.
Minute to win it, baby. You know Devolver Digital is actually in Austin, Texas as well, where you are.
I knew that.
All right.
I didn't know that, but actually that makes me happy.
I skimmed over Downwell real quick. This was a fun little indie game that came out in 2015. We're actually doing a giveaway this week. So if you suggest our video game word of the day for the next week's episode, and we choose your word of the day, then you will get a copy of Downwell on Steam.
Look at that shit. All you gotta do is go on the damn Googles, go on the Instagrams, on the tweets, and just tweet us some shit, and we'll figure it out. Game
Genies Cast, you'll get the full game. It's actually really fun.
Also, don't I need to do something? Yeah, I need to do the Corey in the house or whatever the fuck song.
Yeah, you're going to do Corey's in the house. Yeah,
I have to look that up.
On to predictions, what do you think we're going to see?
Well, we're definitely going to see some gameplay because it said we will see you at E3.
Are you talking about Serious Sam?
For Serious Sam, would you give me a second? Yes. I think it would be highly likely that for Shadow Warrior, we see either some DLC or a sequel. So, I mean, I believe that, Shadow Warrior 2 came out 2016. We could easily get a sequel. I would say a sequel announced. Because, I mean, those have been popular games. It was originally a game. I forgot when Shadow Warrior, like the original came out. But these new iterations are really, really well done. I had a blast playing the first one. I didn't play the second one because I'm an asshole. But, yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to. We can't play everything.
That's the problem. Yes. Maybe Broforce sequel, because I remember when that came out, everyone was all about it on the indie scene.
Yeah, and that came out in 2015, so it's been a while. And I mean, there's been a ton of Broforce stuff, Expended Bros, and all sorts of stuff throughout the years. But as a number one, there might be a number two. You might see a number two, and that's exactly what I was going to get to. I think we're going to see some sequels. I think we're going to see plenty of new IPs as well. I think that's just something that we should expect from Devolver Digital. They seem to take risks on new IPs, which is awesome for gamers like us.
You know, the game that was one of our first episodes that you mentioned is on this, The Messenger.
Yes.
They developed the Messenger, published the Messenger.
Yeah. So they have.
I didn't even realize that. I was like, that game sounds familiar, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's that demon one with like Ninja Gaiden that you showed me.
Yeah. Where it's kind of half 8-bit, half 16-bit.
Yeah.
Like they jump between realms, but in like video game.
I hope we see that.
Worlds.
That makes me really happy.
Also, I want to mention Hotline Miami is like this top-down kind of game where you kind of just do fucked up shit. And that's like what GTA started out as.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Or like, remember something TV?
Smash TV.
Smash TV. It kind of reminds me of that.
Classic. I eventually think that Hotline Miami, they're going to make a 3D version someday. And I'm interested to see if this goes down any sort of even remote path of GTA because it really reminds me.
See, the problem is if they were like, oh, we're going to make, I don't think they could market it very well because it's going to be just another sandbox game. Because the thing is, there's already been like a goofier version, crazy more action-packed version of GTA in Saints Row.
Yeah,
and those games kind of fell off the map.
I mean, personally, I never got behind it. Just because somebody made Saints Row doesn't mean that Saints Row was the answer to GTA. I always thought it looked bad. I always thought the characters were stupid. I always thought everything about it was stupid. And even when I got the version of it that was free for a little while there, what was it? Saints Row, something where you go to hell. I don't know.
Yeah, Get Out of Hell or whatever.
Get Out of Hell. I tried to play. I couldn't fucking stand it. It was so dumb.
All right. I'll give you that.
So anyway, I think there's room for somebody else to come along and make something in the vein of GTA. Because at this point, while GTA is a game that you expect shock value out of, they have to stay in the mainstream and they can't go too far off the
beaten
rails.
Path. Oh, I thought you were going to fucking do the cliche of beaten path. Never mind. Fuck.
Yeah.
Don't me.
Yeah.
Sorry. When's this fucking ramen place closed that's next to me? I want some ramen tonight. Don't tell me to shut up.
I think that we might see an Enter the Gungeon.
Fuck! They close in 20 minutes, Fred. I'm fucked.
I'm sorry. I think we might see an Enter the Gungeon sequel. And that